Hello friends, family, and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a very special cast. Now this is a very special cast for multiple reasons. First of all, it's going to be Protoss vs Zerg between two phenomenal players. Second of all, one of these players is not the race that he usually plays in this matchup. We're of course talking about Clem. Clem has been playing Protoss vs Terran for the better part of a year now. Exclusively playing Protoss against Terran, being one of the best Protoss vs Terran players in the world. And in the latest online Wardy Cup, as well as in the Monday Night Weekly, Clem all of a sudden fully switched to Protoss, both in PvP and PvC. We saw Clem unleash what he's been showcasing on the ladder for a while now already, that he is a Protoss force to be reckoned with, and not just in the PvT matchup. Of course, that is one of the upsides of having to practice Protoss vs Terran, is that in order to fight these Terran players, if your main source of practice is ladder, is that automatically you're going to get better in the other two matchups as well. And today Clem apparently is ready to test his skills on the battlefield for realsies this time around. More than just MMR on the line, prestige, honor, and of course the bragging rights of being a Terran player that can do it with his off race. Now, Clem has already shown that he can do it with his off race. He's not the highest rated Protoss in PvT, but he is, I think majority of the time he spends either rank 3 or rank 4 in the PvT rankings. I think Hero and Max Specs tend to be above him. Sometimes Classic might be considered higher ranked than him. But I know a lot of Terrans really dislike playing against Clem, because he plays a very kind of abusive style. And he just seems to have great understanding of especially the early and the mid-game stages of Protoss versus Terran. Alright, that's not what we're doing here though. This is going to be Protoss versus Zerg, the Cleminator versus the Professor, which is what a lot of people started calling Lambo, because he's the only StarCraft 2 professional player that has an IQ above 97. You know, in the land of the blind, one eye is king, and Lambo actually has 3 eyes, so he is already very intelligent, and then in comparison to the rest of us, he looks even better. First Oracle is going to make its way across the map, a very standard type of play out of Clem. It's the one thing, I don't want to say that as a criticism of Clem, as a person, but I do, or as a player, I feel like he is one of the least creative off-racers in the world. Very frequently, actually, when people off-race, they'll do things a bit different. You know, they bring a new perspective. Clem seems to bring no new perspective at all. His perspective is that if you have very good mechanics, you can play pretty damn standard and get very far. And that is a very valid perspective to have. And it's a perspective that, has paid off for him in the PvT matchup. Let's see how it does here in PvZ. But it's a quick Twilight Council over here. No Forge quite yet. This usually indicates some type of fast glaive build, but as we only have a 3rd gateway and fast extra gateways, it doesn't feel glavey. But with only 3 gates, this type of blink build also feels a little bit weird, because his blink stalker count is not going to be that high. We're moving out with 5 adepts right now. This is as vanilla as it comes, okay? This is the missionary of PvZ openers right now. Like, Lambo is not getting excited about this. He's like, oh, this is really what you want to do, buddy? You're 5 adept move out with 2 oracles into blink? This is how you're gonna try fighting off the Professor? I don't think so. As a couple of these adepts are being cleared here. Queen's in a good spot. Spore has been skipped on the 3rd. Some people call it greedy. I call it the correct play, because Lambo hasn't taken significant damage quite yet. Of course, later on that could still happen here, as the first Fuel Stalker should be getting warped in. No Templar Archives or Forge on the way quite yet. And that is surprising, because the cache is available. And this just seems like an extraordinarily poorly executed early game, out of Clem build otherwise. Doesn't have that many Stalkers, isn't hitting that fast. Doesn't have a very fast Forge. Behind this though, Lambo is getting Hydra Den, late Evo Chamber, Roach Warren kind of defensively in case this was glaive or charge lots, which it wasn't, we know. And it isn't, we know. But still, Lambo didn't know. And Lambo still doesn't know, perhaps is what we should say as well, as he's going pretty quickly into Hydras here. An odd choice, a choice that we don't frequently see, as Clem makes its way across the map here. Decent Stalker count, this is 9 of them. 6 minutes and 15 seconds in, Overlord a bit far forward, could die. Let's see what Clem's plans are. Does he blink forward to catch this? No, he's just going to shoot this hatchery. Fair play to him. Get a cancel or a kill on this would be fantastic. Queen's making their way over right now. Hydras might be a little bit late. Don't forget these things do not have the +1 upgrade, which is going to make them significantly weaker than ideally you'd want them to have. To be. Groove Spine's finishing up here. Hydra's trying to move in position. Good deny there on that stasis ward. Good individual control as well on these Blink Stalkers. So far not a single Stalker having gone down. And only 13... Oh, actually 13 is a bit high. If he would have just stopped at 9, I would have been very happy. But going up all the way to 13, I think is a little bit high. Does tend to delay the strength of your follow-up. Which often is going to be Templars with Storm. And, you know, an extra set of Stalkers means -1 Templar, -1 1/3 Templar. If you warp in 4 Stalkers, gas-wise. And gas is the only thing that's really limiting you as a Protoss player. Clem instantly moves over towards the 4th base. He's doing this off of 8 gateways. Overlord gets taken out here. He's actually going to supply block Lambo. I'm not sure if this was his initial plan. It feels like this infestation pit is a bit of an afterthought. It's not super fast. Usually when Lambo goes for lurkers, he really rushes the lurkers. He is not someone that goes into a kind of like a lazy lurker approach. No, he's someone that if he does lurkers, he does them quickly or he doesn't do it at all. You know, Lambo, he is the type of lurker player, you know, he goes into the bar, orders a bottle of vodka and just downs it. You know, he's not going to be sitting there nursing his beer for 12 hours straight. No, half a bottle of vodka barkeep and I'll finish it all at once and then I piss off, go home. Quick night, same effect as drinking 12 beers over 8 hours. Time efficient, okay? That's what Lambo is. So I feel like it's late. It's going to be later than he wants it to be. That's okay. That is of course allowed. But it is going to make it harder to get a kill on his opponent. Because we see Clem already on the map here with the Templar Stalker army. This used to be a very popular push. It lost a bit in popularity due to Zergs getting so good at holding it with just pure Hydra Link. Well, this time it seems like Lambo's a bit out of position. There's no army really coming from the back. The key against this type of push is coming from multiple angles, but right now there's just a single angle that Lambo can engage through. And that is this one, and with the Storm still available, I think this base is gonna go down. Very nice play out of Clem, zoning this army away. I don't really see a future, honestly, for Lambo. Like, well, I mean, I see a future, and that's him being sent back into the lobby screen. Down 1-0 against Clem with his off race. Which is not a very bright future, okay? It's not a very bright future at all. 3 Zealots coming out. They're gonna go for a run by over here. Spine with 3 HP remaining. Couple of Hydras showing up there as well. Now the Lurkers get morphed in. We do have a Tempest already coming out. As Clem is playing this theoretically just very accurate. This is how this style is supposed to be played. Not very high worker count. Quick transitions into Tempest to make sure that the Lurkers cannot catch you off guard. Good control on the Stalkers majority of the time. It's a bit far forward, but it's going to catch these Lurkers moving in as well. It's going to give him the confirmation that he needs to add in these extra Stargates. Another Zealot warp in. I'm going to go towards the bottom side. Spine still up. This is the type of warp in, by the way, or the run by that wins games. Like these 6 Zealots moving all the way over here. If you don't have enough at home, you need to send significant amount of forces over there. And that can be frustrating. Templar count is kind of low, which... Oh, never mind. There's 4 over here. Templar count is kind of fine. They're just in a weird spot. Very far back. Stalker's now moving forward, controlling this portion of the map. Main army is going to control the right portion of the map. And there are a lot of lurkers here. You know, I'll give Lambo that. And at the same time, he's sending a massive Hydra Link push. And there's a wraparound over here. We do have a stasis. Clem is already anticipating this, which is impressive. We have no Templar as backup in this area. And here we go. This army is just going to get caught. Very good army positioning. Phenomenal stuff, really. As Lambo is going to go back up to 10 gases, but 10 gas versus 8 gas isn't even that good for Zerg, really. Like, there's still a lot of pressure on you to do something. And sometimes you can and sometimes you can't, but in this particular case, I don't think he actually can. As Lambo's going to come in from the west over here as well. Maybe trying to get a surround. No, not a surround. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. But I do know that this is not what winning looks like, although. A couple of these lurkers with some fat shots. Now a blink into the lurkers as well. And Mortals coming in, kind of trickling in, but I think the damage output is going to be good enough. Arkan's moving in forward as well as Clem's supply is still higher than Lambo's. His army composition is better than Lambo's. And his score in this best of 3 is going to be better than Lambo as well. That's definitely an impressive start for Clem, but it's not about how you start. In StarCraft 2, it's what the hell is Lambo doing? It's about how you end. Oh, this is cute. This is a serious ball breaker. This build. Yeah, this build is busting some balls. It's breaking some backs. So the thing with this build is that it's actually really bad. And the only reason that it's good is because it is so bad and it looks so bad. Like, you look at this and you think to yourself, why the hell would a Zerg player go into a standard early game with this? They wouldn't, right? It's playing freaking, what is this, like 17 gas, 16 pool, 18 hatch on the 3rd base location. Like, this is a nightmare scenario for the Zerg player. So you're scouting and you're scouting. And you're even seeing the save here on the freaking larva. This is going to be like a triple larva turning into Zergling setup. Maybe double larva turning into Zerglings. Clem needs to know the response. I don't know if he knows the response. So there's a couple of things. I don't know. Oh, he's checking for proxy hatches. Oh, dude, he has no clue about what's happening here. All you need to do is check for the queen. If the queen starts, you know there's no extra hatchery anywhere. And also with pool first and this hatch timing, like, it would be extraordinarily late for a proxy hatch. You see 4 links here. Zealot gets produced. This was pre-pylon Zealot. Then a late assimilator. So Stargate's going to be delayed a little bit, I think. We're going to get a chrono boost on the Adept. Frequently what you do, by the way, here, is that you go for a Stargate in the wall as well as a blind battery. Now the reason why you need this is very simple. It is because otherwise it's very difficult to defend. And I think Lambo's trying something sneaky here. I don't like sneaky things. I think Clem is not going to like sneaky things either. Stargate in the main base. It's going to make this a little bit harder. Okay, ooh, getting a couple of links to try to go for a run by. He's just really trying to trick his opponent. Saying, hey, I'm not doing anything suspicious here. Don't worry about me. I think we have... I don't know how many we have. Do we have enough drones here? Oh my god, this takes so long. But what a process this is. If it gets spotted at any point, it ends as well. Oh, this drone's making a mistake. As we're in. 4 patches have been removed. The floodgates are now officially open. Let's see how fast Clem is going to respond here. Okay, Clem sees it, moves away, drones go into the main base. Key here is going to be this pylon over here. The absolute key. Drone showing up will want to help. The moment this Oracle comes out, this game usually tends to end. Because with a fast energy recharge as well on that Oracle, you're going to have infinite energy. Now, links reinforcing into the natural. I think all of these links should be going into the natural. There we go. Indeed, what is happening here right now. There's 5 more links in the main. This pylon's going to finish up. And so far, 7 drones have gone down, but very little probes. Pylon gets blasted. And I think the links can actually go for a major surround here. They're going to do that. A couple of links need to split off into the main base. That is correct. Pylon once again is going to get targeted down. We don't have a... No, we do have a chrono available. Could go for that, but instead Clem decides to kill a lot of links. Try to go for some link kills. I think Lambo here is underestimating the power of this many links. Against a single Adept and a Zealot, he should have attacked into this. He might get the kill here on this Nexus, but it's not enough. He's on 10 drones right now. He has no queens behind. No, he's 1 queen behind it, but that's it. I don't think this Oracle had to come out. I think he could have killed 15, 20 workers. And now this is a really awkward situation. A serious misjudgment. 31 links against a Zealot and an Adept is all there really was. Yes, this Nexus is gonna die, but drones need to start being produced. And we're going to need a Spore here on this base as well. We are going to need a Spore on this base. But we also need some more links, maybe, to continue denying. I'm not sure if we need more links, actually. Spore is a necessity. Double Spore is a necessity, even. Something that you can do as a Protoss here is go for a Void Ray follow-up as well. You can send a Void Ray across the map, and with double Oracles, often do a lot of damage. For now, though, Oracle staying at home. Energy recharge is going to be available, but no energy will be available. These, both of these are running quite dry, both of these Oracles. Double gateways, pretty useless because there's no cybernetic score. Like, what are you going to build? Zealot? I don't think so, buddy. As, yeah, this is the last Oracle with energy, and it can barely work here. New OV coming out. It is 2 base versus 1 base. The 3rd Oracle is popping soon. Any probe you can kill here is great, but what's more important is keeping all your links alive. Because they're the tool that keeps these Oracles at bay, right? They're the reason why the oracles aren't moving across the map. And I said, oh, he needs a spore. But no, Lambo doesn't need a spore. Lambo just needs to threaten with those Zerglings. And as long as he's doing that, he's going to be fine. Now he's going to need some spores, and now he's going to build some spores as well. So he's doing the correct thing over here. This is energy aplenty on these oracles. This is not going to be an issue. I'd actually prefer not losing these links. I think it might be better. Like, at this point, he gets a couple of probe kills. But I think the threat of them still being out here is probably a little bit greater than getting 4 or 5 extra worker kills, in my opinion. But I could be wrong, of course. You never know. Oracle's going to make its way across the map. It's going to achieve nothing, but a cheeky little scout. Lambo is still in a serious lead. I just feel like he should have won harder. I feel like he should have won harder. With a surprise like this, with the initial execution, like he did it, I feel like this should have been cleaner. Okay, we're going to get a surround. No, we're not. We're going to get a kill on the probe. Don't forget that this area is still open, and it's going to remain open. It's not like... Well, I guess Clem could close it off here with a zealot. So I guess it doesn't remain open. Nexus now comes down. Lembo's going to go for a kill on the probe, I think. He's going to commit quite a few links to this as well. As a 5th oracle is going to pop out. With 5 oracles, you can actually start sniping spores as well. So this is something you really do need to be careful of. Like 5 oracles with decent amounts of energy, which is not what these oracles have, can actually snipe spores. I think what I used to do is... Yeah, okay, there we go. If you have 5 oracles and there's just 1 queen, or even if there's 2 queens, you can just dive. Especially if 1 or 2 adepts that can help out. But yeah, with just 3 with energy, it's going to be tough. Yes, at the same time, links are going across for a bit of a run by. 1 oracle needs to go back home. 2 zealots will fall. Nice control here out of Lambo. He's going to get a probe. Very odd game. Just double spores over here. So just really kind of safe play against this weird mass oracle style that Clem is playing. That he's forced into playing. This is not what he picked out at the start of the game. Like, he just feels like his only way of surviving is by adding in more and more oracles. And he probably was right. I think the problem is just here that Lambo's in a better position. He's going to get a layer out. He's adding in more queens. He has a spore out here. He has a spore in the main. More and more links are on the way as well. And there's still no wall at the front either, so... It's like links are just going to run in here and can kill infinite probes. The thing is, there's not infinite probes to kill because Clem is so freaking poor. Like, Lambo actually suffering from success here. Like, he's a master thief. And he can enter any building, but everyone in his city is too poor to steal something from. Like, he's already, you know, stolen everything. He's too good of a thief. Hate to see it. There goes his revenue down the drain. I mean, he's up so far, it's hard to imagine him losing. Maybe a stroke. Some well-placed poison in his milk. Lambo is a big milk drinker. Just chugs it. He actually bought some cows and goats so he can make his own milk. Well, it's not his own milk, but, you know, the milk that his cows and goats produce. He drinks it straight from the teat. That's how he does it. I say Lambo, is that really a responsible thing to do? I don't give a crap. Give that to me. Bob chucks it down. So in order to get the Lambo, you can't just poison his cup. You need to poison the cow. Or you stab him in the back, you know, while he's sitting there drinking straight from the udder. Yeah, limited options. If the way to take Lambo out is by poisoning his milk, that is. Like, there's obviously better ways to get it. But if that was your preferred weapon of choice. If you're Clem in this situation, down 22 workers with a bunch of oracles. Poisoning the cow or the goat is the way to go. Alright, oracles are going to make their way into the main base, which is kind of a cool play, because there's not that much remaining. They should take a look at this. Fra, pa, 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 pa. If these hydras hadn't spawned right now, this still wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be a little bit harder, because these hydras, they tanked a bit and dealt a lot of damage. And you might end up losing like 10 drones or so, and a bunch of other things, and we still have these stalkers around as well. Like, it's not like Clem has nothing, it's just Clem has very little. And very little that deals serious damage. That's the main issue here. I think Lambo's just going to go for a Hydra Link push. 5 gas, or theoretically 5 gas. Mining 1 less from here. This extractor died, so yeah, 5 gas. 4.5, one could even say. And I could agree, you know, to those terms. We're going to get another stasis ward as well, but Lambo's paying attention. He's not going to take any damage from that. So the Nexus goes down onto the third base. Onto the third base. Yeah, I do believe that this game... I mean, I have believed that this game was over a while ago. Clem is making a game out of it. He's definitely a big gamer. But, I don't know. I don't know. Fourth base now coming in. It's just... I just don't quite see how he's gonna... No, actually, I can see how he holds the Ling Hydra. Like, if you continue building Pure Stalker of 5 gates... and Lambo overcommits, and you're also still producing workers. Like, stuff actually is possible. And we had good denial on the fourth base here as well. Like, 2 batteries? I'm not saying you're gonna hold, but... yeah, you do need the batteries, though. That's a... The thing with the battery is you want it before the fight starts, not after the fight is over. And I think if he ever gets batteries, they're gonna be done after the fight is over. Get a run by into the main base, pylon's gonna go down. Hydra count is not as high anymore. Oracles here are gonna try and pick up some of the reinforcements, and more than try, they're gonna succeed here. Very well done. Problem is this third base is still an absolute shambles, as the Stalker count isn't big enough. This was a very, very good attempt out of Clem, though. I am thoroughly impressed by his response to this terrible early game. Practically, like, almost making a comeback. Like, this was extraordinarily close. Lambo, he put all of his marbles into this one jar, and it was the correct jar. Great for him. Yeah. Well done, Lambo. Freaking Marble King, but I mean, there was definitely some risk attached to this. Look at this, 54 workers. Fort base very late, no infestation pit, no nothing. Did have +1 upgrade up over his opponent, but Clem did well. But Clem loses. It's always interesting to see how off-race players deal with this type of stuff, though. Because it is a tricky situation, and I mean, if you've been playing PvZ all your life, you've lost many a natural nexus to this type of garbage over the years. And usually the response indeed is you're pumping out oracles. I'm not a huge fan of getting a Twilight Council there. I think actually doing a pure gateway attack, high oracle count and stalkers without blink, tends to be a bit more effective because you don't have to wait for blink. Your stalkers remain safe due to your high oracle count, so you don't really need blink. But I think the general idea of getting high numbers of oracles is very good. I think mixing in a Void Ray as your third or your fourth Stargate unit is also something you can do in these types of situations. But yeah, I mean, Lambo had this on lockdown. He played it out well, and yeah, Clem just, if you're not paying attention to these minerals behind your natural or next to your natural, you can lose a game. Yeah, instantly, pretty much. That's just the way that it is. Let's see what we have over here. We have a supply block. That's for certain. That's a cheeky little supply block as well. Look at that. 10, 11, 15. We can see based on how long extra this will take. That was like a 4-second supply block or so. No, it was a 2.5, 3-second supply block. Still pretty significant in the early game. 3-second supply block for your first adept means it's going to be delayed by about, 2.8 seconds or so due to the chrono boost existing. We're going to get a hatch over on the forward. I don't think he can do it. Oh my god. This is perfect probe micro. I actually think he's going to get the block off. Dude, if the adept had gone across, this would have been detrimental. This could have been game over. Fantastic probe micro. This has been some of the best probe micro I've seen in my life. That was bananas. Second drone needs to be sent out. So well done. Identifying that there are no links and just controlling this so well. Look at the freaking... Oh my god. Look at the money in the bank. Look at the money in the bank here. Pylon is going to finish up. Is this just a game? Ooh, I think that might be a mistake, no? Look at this. The pure chaos that has been caused here. The pain. What a crazy early game. You know what's the worst part? This probe is gonna go home. Straight back into the freaking mineral mines. You hate to see it. This guy should retire. Like, he should be allowed to retire. Like, increased pension. But no, this guy, even in the natural, he's going to go back into the natural, a more dangerous base. Wouldn't surprise me if this guy gets transferred over to the third base. It's never the people that deserve it that end up getting the credits, okay? Like some middle manager's gonna get promoted over this. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting behavior. Alright. Adept moving in. We're gonna get a shade out. And we have a third base over here. Quick Evo chamber. Decent amount of links. Oh, Lambo. He's not playing standard. And I kind of like that. Although, it might not be working out. And this base needs to be denied. It needs to be. Like, you can't build this many links. How many did 28? 33 links. 33 links. Like, you need to kill a base here. If you don't kill a base, you're cooked. And ideally, you can kill a couple of adepts as well, as these guys are moving further forward. It's gonna be a cancel. A couple of links end up going down. It's gonna seriously delay some things here. Can I get a run by into the natural? I mean, there's no units in the natural, so theoretically we could. Okay, 2 adepts now coming in. Ooh, Lambo sees the shade out. Absolutely everything as well. It's gonna run by. It's gonna get the battery as well as the stalker probably, or at least try for it. Double oracle showing up over on the third base. 46 workers to 48. So worker counts are really close. This could be considered scary because the queen count isn't super high. Adept shade is gonna finish up. Take a look at the third base as well. Oracles will be moving in momentarily. First person position on Clem here. 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's game. That should be game. Theoretically impossible game to lose at this point for Clem. With melee over halfway done is the only real plus that Lambo has is better upgrades. That's it. Everything else sucks. Late layer, which means an inability to do really anything that could potentially damage his opponent. Like, these traits are not going to be good for Lambo either, because +1 isn't finished quite yet. Like an adept for 5 links. It's like, oh well. Well done. Like, I hope you're... It's like going into the shop and buying like a loaf of bread for €1.20. It's like, that's not really a deal, you know? I can walk into my local supermarket and get that any day of the week. It's not a good trade. It's just not. Now, if you pay €1.20 and you get to visit a concert of Neil Young in 1974, after the release of his smash hit Heart of Gold, that would be a good trade. But that's not at all what happened here with these links and this adept. Not at all. No, no, no. Quite the contrary. We have a third base done already with gases. 65 workers to 56. +2 melee coming in here. I don't quite understand how Lambo is planning on winning this game. Like, what is his strategy? Does he have a strategy? Can you have a strategy if you're this far behind? Like, this guy is living paycheck to paycheck right now. And Clem is about to put some explosives under his house. That's terrible if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Hell, that's terrible if you're not living paycheck to paycheck. Explosive under your house. No, you don't wish that onto your worst enemy. Or maybe you would, because he's your worst enemy. This is a good fight though for Lambo. This actually was a pretty neat trade. Not great, but good. And it can turn even better. Often with these types of trades, the Protoss will look at it and then erroneously warp in more Stalkers. They're like, oh, that went not terrible, not great. I need some Stalkers for safety. And if the Protoss does that, it's really good. But it's not what's happening here. Clem, once again, has very good restraint. He doesn't get tricked into bad positions. Very solid decision making. This is interesting too. Do we have a Baneling nest? No, we don't. 61 worker Hydra Ling. With +2 halfway done. I mean, the moment Storm finishes up, this game still should be over. This is such a big giveaway as well. Well, not a giveaway, but it's like one of these things where it's like, what the hell? Layer tech, right? Like right now, the alarm bell should be going off in Clem's head. Wee-oo, wee-oo. This is not a macro game. Wee-oo, wee-oo. Like, you don't have to even take a forward base, probably. Well, you actually don't have to. Not just probably, you don't. Period. It's going to be Hydra Ling. There's no Spore here yet. Clem's being very active with these Oracles. I would prefer seeing some Stasis. And we need to see a run-by as well with Zealots. Having a little run by going across the map here would be great, but I mean, even without a run by, it's even supply. We're gonna get a hive behind this, but it's a fake hive because we're on 60 drones. It's not gonna be a real one. Get a battle on the left. Probably a battle in the middle as well. Oracle's now moving back home. Love to see some stasis stuff. I mean, there's no Bane, so there's no surprise. There's nothing. Oh, this is a good surround. This could be a good surround. This is going to be a good surround. Look at that. Very nice control there on the links on the bottom side. Holy crap. Quick responses out of Lambo. Gets a cancel on this base. Gets a very decent trade here all around. I'm not saying it's working, but it does seem to be working. Snipes every single one of these Templar. Zealots are still going to be an issue. Maybe he can trick Clem now. Walking into creep. A little bit too far, a little bit too fast. Because Lambo is still all in behind this. Don't forget, he's only on 60 workers. If Clem overextends away from his bases, Lambo could actually make some plays happen here. And I wonder what Lambo's plan is. There's two things he can do. He can either say, hey, I cleared your fort base. I'm gonna drone up and try to play a lurker style. Or Lambo could say, hey, I just killed your fort base. You're probably not feeling as hot right now as you should. You probably feel like you need to attack into me. And then Lambo kills him with all these units. Or Lambo just attacks into his opponent. With the queens, with the hydras, with the links. Single storm is available. Links here moving to the side. Good control. The links are the real damage dealers, don't forget. With the +2 attack. They're the only ones with the upgrades here. Oracle's going across the map on a little errand. Not sure what they're doing over here. Not buying milk, that's for sure. GG gets called. Lambo's gonna win this game. What a comeback. Funny, because game number 1 felt kind of okay for him, and then Clem just took it. And this game felt unwinnable. And then Lambo just took it, and he ends up winning this series with a 2-1 score. And Clem is being kicked out of this cup with his Protoss.